Yeah, how to name organic compounds. First things first, we should learn the names of the compounds in an organic compound. We have really basic straight line chains here that can also be functional groups later on. We first have the alkanes. Alkanes have a basic formula of C to the N, H2N plus 2. That just means that however many C's you have in one formula, you're going to have 2 times that number plus 2 hydrogen atoms in that same formula. We call these alkanes because they have only single bonds, as denoted down there by the structural formula. Here we have something similar called alkenes. Alkenes have a formula of C to the N, H2N. Now these are called alkenes because they, unlike the alkanes, have double bonds in them in their structural formulas. And here we have alkynes. Alkynes are different because they have triple bonds here. They have a formula of CnHn. So functional groups part 1. Here we just have a list of some of the functional groups that go on the end of the organic compounds. We have an alcohol, which is very basic. It has an OH molecule attached to the end. In this particular atom, it's methanol, CH3OH. Here we have an ether, which has a C bonded to an O, and which is again bonded to another C. And this compound is called dimethyl ether. It has a formula of CH3OCH3. Here we have a haloalkane. Halo meaning that there's a halogen attached to the chain here. So here we have chlorine. So this would be chloromethane, CH3Cl. More functional groups, we have amine, which is just C bonded to an N, or a nitrogen, and this molecule is called ethylamine, CH3CH2NH2. Here we have an aldehyde, which is C double bonded to an O, which is bonded again to an H. And then this is called ethanol, not to be confused with alcohol. This is an Al. And this formula would be CH4CO or CH3OH. And here we have a ketone. A ketone is just a straight line of 3 C's with a double bonded O attached to the middle C. This particular ketone is called propanone, C2H6CO or CH3COCH3. And our last functional group would be carboxylic acid, which is just C double bonded to an O, bonded to another O and an H. This particular acid is called ethanoic acid, or a more common name is acetic acid, which has CH3COOH. Here we have an ester, which is C double bonded O to another O and another C. C2H6COC is the compound for this particular ester, named methyl ethanoate or methyl acetate. And then finally we have the amide, which is C double bonded to an O, bonded again to an N, or in this particular one is called ethylamide, which is CH3CONH2. So when naming an organic compound, there are 4 basic steps you should follow to make it easy for you. First, you should identify the parent chain. Now the parent chain is just simply the longest straight line chain you have in a formula, and in this particular one here, it is this straight line chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of carbon. Keep in mind that a parent chain does not have to be in a straight line like this. For instance, if we had more branches coming down off here, the parent chain would most likely be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many it was going down if this was the longer chain, making an L-shaped chain longer than the straight line chain here, making the L-shape the parent chain. Then you assign numbers to the parent chain. Now you're assigning numbers to try to get the functional group to have the lowest number possible. In this one, it doesn't matter which way we assign the numbers because the functional group is going to be on 3 either way. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we should identify the functional groups. Here we only have one functional group, which is a methyl group. And then 4, we should name the compound first using the number in which the functional group is found. So this would be 3. Then we name the functional group methyl, and then we name the parent chain, which is pentene pentene because we have a double bond here. And here's just an example problem to help solidify everything that we've gone through. So first, we'll identify the parent chain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 6 is the longest chain we have so far, so we'll just go with the straight line chain to make it easier. So we'll circle the long one here. So that's our parent chain. Now we'll give it a number. We'll name it going this way because we're going to try to get this functional group here to have the lowest number possible. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now after that, we're trying to figure out what functional groups we have. We have this group up here, this group here, this group here, and this group over here. And finally, we're just going to name the compound. So this particular compound, we're going to name it 3, 2, 3, 2 because we have a functional group on the 3 and a functional group on the 2, and they're the same functional group. So we're going to name them first because there's 2 of them. And these functional groups are a methyl group. So 3, 2 methyl, comma, 3 again, because we have another functional group on the 3, ethyl, because it's an ethyl group. And then this functional group over here is an aldehyde. So the parent chain is going to be renamed hexyne because of the triple bond, and because there's 6, hexyne. And then an aldehyde makes it so that the parent chain is going to have an Al at the end, making the compound 3,2-methyl 3-ethyl hexinol. And that is how you name organic compounds.